What's good, YouTube? Get your analysis playground t-shirts on my Facebook page. Message me. You can get any color shirt, any color logo that you want. All you doing is customizing the logo on the shirt, whether you want it black or white, red and white, or even just a black and red like this t-shirt. But you can also change the color of the shirt. And let me know if you want one. Message me on Facebook and I can get one sent out to you. Bye. What's good? What's good, YouTube? We're gonna talk about Joel Embiid, the All-Star, All NBA forward with his face-up game. One of his best abilities is be able to shoot over smaller and slower defenders, just rise above them, get a little space, knock it down easily. This is one of his go-to moves and something that he relies on heavy in the offensive end. And his fadeaway is nice too. Able to face up, create some space, shoot over smaller defenders, or just shoot over them if they fall for a fake or a movement, gives them the space. And you see right here, he just has good footwork, good patience. And once he creates the space, he gets a good look at the basket and then releases with a soft touch. I like this move. I wish he got a little closer like this more often because if you in that 15 and under, you 7 feet, you basically tapping the ball in the basket because you elevating above the rim. And look at these shots, just so close to the basket, just easy. That's a high percentage shot, and this is the reason why a lot of centers is going back to the post is because it's an easy shot for them. Plus, it's an easy shot that is not going to rely. It ain't going to turn into fast break points, but like this one would because you're closer to the basket. But a lot of people are starting to use that post a lot more often. Here you see him putting the ball on the deck. This is something that he has improved since his rookie year, literally getting the ball at the top of the key or even in the high post and just breaking down the defense by getting to the basket and finishing. His finishing ain't amazing, but it's good enough to where he's a threat. And he creates a lot of space. He's physical, he's athletic, and he can beat you to the spot or get that first step. And it's basically RIP to the defender, especially if they're a smaller one or they switch it. Like on this, he's a smaller defender, and Joel Embiid just basically bulldozes him, take the contact, and gets a clean little hook off at that point. And then right here, you see Joel Embiid with a slower defender goes right past him, gets an easy layup, glides it, no contest at the rim, and that's bad if you're a defender, especially because you got Joel Embiid. Another thing is taking it from the three-point line all the way to the basket. Guards do it, but now the centers are starting to do it, which is showing you how the game has evolved. His post game is decent. He's still adding more moves and more counters and more footwork. As long as he continues to grow this area and gets the ball deep like this, kind of like Dwight Howard back in Orlando, you get it in that 10 feet range, and all you do is got to rise above and just tap it in. I like his post moves, and if he can get close to the basket, he has to finish. And he has an array of moves already, and he can continue to develop that game. Maybe he can be a more efficient scorer. But this is one thing he has to continue to work on because the defense is going to give him this all the time, which is the pull up or the spot up three. Now, sometimes he can get hot certain games, but usually he's inconsistent. But this is a shot that if he really wants to take his game to the next level, he has to shoot it above league average, which he hasn't been able to do in the NBA. People know he can shoot threes. People know that he wants to shoot threes, but at the same time, he hasn't perfected that craft. And it's mostly because of injuries. He hasn't been able to work as much on his game because he's been doing a lot of rehab and a lot of recovery for the many injuries that he has had. But this is something that he needs to definitely continue to work on and perfect that can really make him virtually unstoppable and unguardable because he'll have a move for every position on the court. And he's an excellent passer, whether it's at the top of the key, whether it's at the high post, or whether it's in the post, or even, cutting to the rim and breaking down the basket. I also like his ability to do the dribble handoff, set screens, create space for your teammates, and allow them to get open jumpers when you're playing with guys like Bellinelli, Ersan Ilyasova, or even J.J. Redick. It's a good thing to have that in your game. And like I said, in the high post, him and Ben Simmons and Dario Saric, they're big for their positions, and that allows them to get easy baskets around the rim because Joel Embiid draws so much attention that you sometimes forget about the other players on the court. And right here you see again, he gives you the dribble handoff, creates the space for his teammate, and gives deadly shooters open space. And that's basically RIP for J.J. Redick, Marco Bellinelli, and guys like Dario Saric. All they need is a good look at the basket and is basically automatic bucket. And you see right here again, sets the screen. He doesn't even need that much space. He just gets a little second, gets to look at the basket, rise and elevates and knock that down. And even with the three balls, JJ Redick is a 3-point specialist. Matter of fact, a shooter in general. You can give him no space, and Joel Embiid allows him to get that. And also the kick out, like I said, collapsing the defense, drawing the attention, and giving easy baskets from his teammate. That definitely makes his teammates better when you giving them room, giving them space, and taking a lot of attention off of them. And that builds their confidence because they're getting easy buckets. And of course, the high-low pass, lob to Dwight Howard to Josh Smith type of play, or even a Tim Duncan to David Robinson. And then you have his defense. He's going to protect the paint. He was one of the best defenders in the league, especially interior defenders. And he was one of the guys that was finished in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. Top 3 this year. If he can stay more healthy and continue to anchor that defense, most likely he will be a Defensive Player of the Year winner, just like Hakeem Olajuwon, his idol. Has been a guy with a lot of hype. A lot of people say that he would be the number one pick. If it wasn't for the injuries, he would miss his first couple seasons, including his rookie season, where some people thought that he did enough to be Rookie of the Year. But at the end of the day, he ended up only playing 31 games in that year with 25 minutes because he was on a minutes restriction. He showed how good and dominant he could be. The Sixers did not make the playoffs, but this year they will make the playoffs. He'll play double the games, going from 31 games to 63 games and playing 30 minutes instead of 25 minutes. His field goal increased to 48%. His three-point percentage was 30%. He had shot 76 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds a game, 3.2 assists, 1.8 blocks, and 22.9, basically 23 points a game. And he helped the 76er in their playoff drought alongside the other number one pick in Ben Simmons, and also a huge role and a huge addition and a continually improving Dario Saric was able to lead this young Sixer team out of the first round also by beating the Miami Heat. Then Joel Embiid came out and played well against Boston and basically the Miami Heat. But one thing we're going to focus on is mostly Joel Embiid, the guy that some people say is the best center in the NBA. Now that DeMarcus Cousins has torn his Achilles, some people say he's a top 10 player in the NBA. And this is only after 2 seasons. I basically don't agree with that. I do not think Joel Embiid is a top 10 player personally. And I do not. Maybe the best center in the NBA is in discussion because he's one of the only centers that play both ends of the floor. He's not the most dominant center in the league, but he's also not the most efficient center. He turns the ball over a lot. He doesn't shoot that well from 3 last season. His free throw line is decent for a center, but his field goal percentage is not even close to being above 50% or even at 50%. So I think he still has a lot of room to improve, and we're going to talk about that right now because Joel Embiid has already shown that he lived up to the hype, helping the team make the playoffs. And on top of that, basically being an All-NBA and an All-Star already after missing basically 3 straight seasons. So he lived up to the hype, and now can he continue to build upon the success he has? And the number one way he can do that is by just staying healthy. A lot of people are fans of Joel Embiid because you hear him all the time on TV, and he's always up to something. So people definitely care about him. People definitely been hyping him up because they all saying that he's one of the best players in the league, even though he hasn't even came close to playing 70 to 80 games, well, 80 games per season. So once he gets up to that 73, 75, I give him more credit, especially if he can continue to improve his playmaking, because sometimes he can be a sloppy passer. Sometimes he can get in the paint and get tunnel vision and get turnovers and get stripped. Or sometimes he even gets blocked with great fast break opportunities for his teammates. And also sometimes he can be a little rushy in the post. He tries to do a little bit too much. He thinks a little bit too much, and he doesn't have his counters right away. And that leads to mistakes, that leads to turnovers, and that leads to getting blocked a lot. And that's something that he's going to have to continue to develop because, like I said, I will give him a pass because he's been focused so much on getting through rehab because he's always injured the last couple seasons, including last year. So This year he has a whole off season because he was healthy after they lost to the Celtics. So after they lost in five, he has multiple months to continue to play basketball, which I done seen him do, and add more to his game and add more weapons to his repertoire because he is already a good offensive player. He already is one of the better scorers in the league, especially at his position. But I want to see him take that leap from a good player, all-star player, to a superstar player. Now, some people will argue that he's already there. I won't because he hasn't played enough games and his numbers are not eye popping right now. Or you see Anthony Davis averaging 28 and 11. Is other big guys that's more dominant offensively at his position or even as a big man. So I think he still has ways to go offensively. And once he start getting that touch, once he start getting that, confidence like he already has, he's pulling up threes, he's spinning, he's swinging, he's banging, he's pulling up jumpers, he's getting all the assists, he's kicking out. He has all the intangibles of a superstar. He just has to slowly put it together. And the injuries hasn't helped him in that development. But I think this is one of those years that Joel Embiid starts his contract extension. He's going to get paid like a superstar. He has high expectations coming off the playoffs and coming off the fact that people think Philly is going to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And them losing a couple pieces going to add more time for him to basically dominate more because he's going to have more touches and he's going to get the offense ran through him a lot more. And then playing with a guy like Ben Simmons, a guy that makes his teammates better, a guy that helps his teammates get easy shots, whether it's just getting layups or dunks or even getting Joel Embiid wide open threes in transition when he's running back down slowly as a trailer, or even just finding him with layups, dunks, and lobs just by creating space and breaking down the defense. So I think that they was a better fit than we thought because we knew that both of them couldn't shoot coming out of college, but they was able to make it work. And now with them getting eliminated so early in the playoffs, they had more of an off season to add that to their game and build more chemistry and practice and work on new moves that they can bring into this season. And one thing, if you want to be a superstar, you cannot get complacent. You have to continue to add. You have to continue to build on the foundation and the bread and butter that you have. And I feel like this is one of them seasons where Joel Embiid, like a lot of people are predicting, he jumps into that MVP conversation and potentially could win it because the Sixers, the East is open. We know Boston is going to be there. Toronto might be there depending on if Kawhi Leonard stays healthy. And the Sixers should be there if they can stay healthy because they was already there last year. So this is just a season where everybody's predicting the Sixers to either be the East in the Eastern Conference Finals or give competition to those other two teams, and they're gonna need Joel Embiid to be as healthy as he can be and as dominant as he can be. And if he really wants to win that MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, being healthy is his major concern. Can he stay healthy for majority of the season? Can he play at an elite level for a full season? And I feel like I haven't been able to say that for him, and I don't think he's been able to do that either. That's why I don't have him as a superstar right now. But he is one of the better players. Like I said, he's not in my top 10, but he is definitely in that 15 to 20 range. And he's on the brink of getting to that elite level, which he's going to have to raise his efficiency all across the board to get to that level. And his team is going to have to continue to build upon success and win more games. And with them being healthy and them having the chemistry last year and having all the injuries and new players getting added, they still was able to finish with 50 plus wins and they still was able to get out of the first round. So expectations only get higher when you succeed like that. And with Joel Embiid possibly being their best player, because we don't really know what Ben Simmons has really done this year, because he can be an argument for the best player on his team. But right now it's Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid has a lot of, praise right now. He has a lot of fans right now. He has a lot of bandwagon people, but he still has a lot more to prove to me before I can call him a superstar. But other than that, if he can get his threes back to 36 or higher, that's going to be very good for him, especially because they're letting him shoot the threes and they're giving it to him because they rather him shoot a three than get in the paint and get those little mid-range jumpers or those fadeaways or even in the post. And those are higher percentage shots. So you will live with him shooting a three regardless because you don't want to 7-foot athletic guy in the paint getting layups and dunks and mid-range pull up 12, 15 feet under jump shots, which is very high but his position. So that's one thing he's going to have to work on is continuing to try to stay as healthy as he can be putting effort and energy and becoming dominant offensively. But not only that, still giving it to this team defensively, anchoring that defense, communicating, rotating, covering the space is all there. He just has to be able to put it together for a longer period of time. And if he's able to do that, he will be on the cups of being one of the top 5, top 10 players. And as LeBron gets older, KD gets older, Steph get older, because these guys in their 30, the rise of the new players should be coming. As when they starting to get older, he will start entering into his prime, which will allow him to basically probably move up past these guys that you'll never think he'll move past, and that will allow him to be possibly a Hall of Famer. He looks like he can be a Hall of Famer, but it's way too early to tell. But if he's able to get to that level where he's one of the top 5 players in the league, which he seems like he can be, but injuries still are a factor, and that can ruin his career because he had the foot surgery, the bad knees. So he got some severely major injuries that can really hunt big man for the rest of their career and even in his career. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and we can enjoy seeing his fun self go out there, play basketball, and go out there and put on the show while also leading them to the Eastern Conference Finals and possibly the NBA Finals. But with Toronto and Boston being there, it's going to be tough for him to get there. But if he's able to do it, he's going to rise up on people's boards. And if he continues to be, if he could get to a dominant 25 or plus points a game while still giving you the 11 rebounds, while still giving you 2 blocks a game and getting you 35 to 36 from three, he's going to be rising up my list too as one of the best players. But right now, I do not have him in my top 10, and I don't feel like he's one of the top 5 players in the league. But I will say he's one of the top 3 centers. If you count AD, then he's number 1. But we don't know how DeMarcus Cousins is going to come back. We don't know how Karl-Anthony Towns is going to come back because he is bad defensively. But to me, he's a better all-around offensive player than Joel Embiid at this point. But defensively, Joel Embiid has him beat. But we don't know how Karl-Anthony Towns is going to come into the season. And like I said, we don't really know much about DeMarcus Cousins. We don't know what Jokic is going to add to his game, or if he's going to become more dominant, because he's a good all around player too. But the thing about these centers is they all just as young as Joel Embiid, if not even younger. So he's going to have competition for that number 1 center spot over the course of these next couple of years, and that's fun. You want somebody to give you competition. You want somebody to let you know you can't get complacent because they're going to pass you up or take your spot, and that can continue to motivate you and continue to fight the complacency and get you to where you want to be, which is the best player in the league or possibly just the best center in the league. So he got some competition. He got some young centers that's going to be on his ass, and he's going to have to continue to work on his game to keep that spot. But right now, we will see what the future holds for Joel Embiid. Let me know what you guys think about Joel Embiid. Do you think he's going to be a bust by getting too many injuries? Do you think his career will end with injuries? Do you think he will become the best player in the league? Do you think he can be an MVP this year? Do you think he'll win Defensive Player of the Year? Do you think that he can lead the Sixers to the Eastern Conference Finals? Do you think he can lead the Sixers to the NBA Finals? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's underrated? Some people definitely think he's overrated. Some people think he's is one of the elite players in the league. Joel Embiid is one of those people that either you're riding with him or you're not. And I'm one of them people that can't ride with him just yet. But I'm not going to try to jump on the bandwagon. I'm just going to give him credit when it's due and give him respect. But I might never be a fan of Joel Embiid because he's not my type of player. But he does look like he has potential to be one of the most dominant players in the league. If he can stay healthy and continue to add to his game, there's no reason why he can't be one of the top 5, even if the best player in the league. So we'll see what happens. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description and comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the comment section and the description below. If you want a t-shirt, they will be available on my Facebook. You can message me on Facebook if you want a t-shirt. You can get this shirt in any color logo that you want. Just let me know what logo you want and let me know what color t-shirt you want and let me know the color you want and message me on Facebook and I can get it sent out to you. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about Joel Embiid and the 76ers future in the Eastern Conference.